All right, good evening, everyone. Welcome to all who are visiting here today in the chambers and those that are watching online. We're going to call the notice of the meeting of the Finance and Human Resources Committee for Wednesday, July 22nd, 2026 here at 5:01. Supervisor Trotter is excused and everyone else here is in attendance in the auditorium. And chairman's comments, I really don't have the chairman's comments tonight, other than get out to the fair. Racine County Fair starts next week, Wednesday. Get out to the fair and support all the youth in the 4-H that are there with their projects. So at this time, it's standard procedure to have a youth and governance statement read. And tonight, if Gianna, would you be willing to witness the statement, please?
Hello, we are members of the Racine County Youth and Governance Program, and we will be participating in tonight's meeting. This program serves to empower youth in Racine County by encouraging us to participate in local government. We have agreed to abide by the applicable standards of conduct that would govern any elected county board member. While we are encouraged to participate and are allowed to have a non-binding advisory vote on matters before the committee, all formal action taken by this committee will be based solely on the binding votes made by county board supervisors.
All right, thank you. All right, next on the agenda is public comments. Do we have any public comments? I don't see any public in the auditorium that would like to speak. Gwen, have we heard anything online as far as public comments? All right, no public comments. All right, we'll move on from public comments. Item number 4 is the approval of the minutes from the July 8th, 2026 committee meeting to be action by the committee.
We move to approve.
We have a motion made and seconded by Supervisor Miller and seconded by Supervisor Shakur for the minutes of July 8th. Any additions or corrections to the minutes as presented? Seeing none, hearing none. Youth and governance, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, and the committee, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, the minutes of July 8th are approved. Item number 5 is the approval of the minutes from the July 14th committee meeting.
Move to approve. Second.
So we have a motion to approve by Supervisor Miller, seconded by Supervisor Spencer. Any additions or corrections to the minutes as presented? Seeing none, hearing none. All those in favor from the youth and governance signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, the committee, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, the minutes of July 14th are approved. Item number 5 is consideration of nomination of Andrew Shoemaker as the Informed Technology Director. And I see that Andrew is here as well as the county executive. If the county executive would like to lead us onto this next item, please.
Thank you, Chairman and committee. You probably already know Andrew or you've encountered him, but I'll introduce him anyhow. This is Andrew Shoemaker.
Hello.
We went through an interview process and a search process to sounds like it. How's that? Better? Okay. Anyhow, we went through an interview process and a search process. And in my opinion, we got lucky twice in a row now. We found Robert, who moved on, as you know, to a private sector role. But we got equally lucky to find Andrew. Andrew comes to us with a background in IT, cybersecurity, team building, and leadership. He was with the Valrath company in Milwaukee, and he was also in a leadership role with Mitchell Field for Milwaukee County. I will let him expand on his experience on his own, and whatever questions you have, feel free.
So at Valrath, I was a IT manager heading up a group of help desk and infrastructure engineers. And then I spent 3 years at Valrath, and I spent 7.5 years at Mitchell Airport. Mitchell is part of Milwaukee County, and that's where I got my government experience. And over at Mitchell, I oversaw the infrastructure, cybersecurity, and GIS team. So experience with county and private industry and GIS and IT and all sorts of things. So happy to be part of Racine County. Any questions for me?
Supervisor Shakur.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Welcome aboard so far.
So far, thank you.
Across the finish line. I have two questions, but basically it's one. How much time did you have in the private business and also in working with the county?
Sure. I have actually bounced between government and private industry over my career. I started in government with a company called Trust Solutions. They were a Medicare, Medicaid fraud company. They looked for fraud in the Medicare, Medicaid industry. I was there for 4.5 years. Then I moved into private industry. I was in private industry for about 8 years. Then I moved into Mitchell International, where as I said, I was there for 7.5. Back over to private, where I was at Volrath for about 3 years, and now I'm back in government. So,
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. What do you think is the most important, if you could come with one thing, what is the most important with information technology that you're going to focus in on, if so?
one thing right now, I would say security, cybersecurity. It's yeah, there's bad actors all over the world trying to attack, especially county governments in general, are big targets on our backs. So cybersecurity is the number one, and then if I can have a number two, it would be AI.
Thank you.
Supervisor Miller.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and welcome, Andrew. I'd just like to follow up on Supervisor Shakur's question, and it's similar, and you've answered it somewhat already, but do you have like a series of goals as you approach this position?
Sure. I've spent about 3 months here, and after the first about 2 months, I came to Ralph and talked to him about some of my goals that I would like to accomplish. One of those main goals is kind of the blocking and tackling with the IT group, kind of getting back to basics. We're missing some of the. I don't want to say missing. We are need some strengthening of some of our fundamentals. In terms of asset management. What was the other one? uh, yeah, customer service. Getting IT kind of as the central service standpoint for all of the county. Right now, one of the things I see is a lot of shadow IT happening throughout the county. The county is allowed to purchase IT equipment on their own. I'd like to bring that all back under IT for budgetary purposes so that we know what is being purchased, what money is being spent on IT equipment. And again, from a cybersecurity, that we know what equipment and what is being purchased. So the end user isn't purchasing things and then we don't know about them and then we're expected to support them. Or even if they purchase something that isn't appropriate, and could open the county up for attacks from bad actors.
Any other questions or comments? I do have a comment. I got a chance to talk with Andy a little bit one-on-one at an off-site event one time, and he seems to have a level-headed, easy approach to conversations with IT and some of the challenges we've had some interesting things and some past experiences to draw from that would probably help us in the county. So what is the committee's pleasure?
Mr. Chairman, I would recommend confirmation to the full county board.
Second.
All right, we have a motion seconded for Andrew's confirmation. Any further discussion?
I have one more comment. I would say the most important question that you missed is, Andrew, how many planes crashed while you were at IT Mitchell Field?
0.
It's a victory, I call it. I would look at that as a victory.
Any other comments or questions in regards to the appointment? If not, we'll call the question. Youth and Governance, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Committee, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, we will move this forward to the county board.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, item number 7 is from the Finance Director, Gwen Zimmer, in regards to Racine County 2026 second quarter investment report. And staff from PTMA is here to bring us up to date, and I believe they have a PowerPoint as well. Welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you. Hello, my name is Brian Hextall with PTMA, and I'm joined here today by Cade Neubauer. He has been with our firm for about 3 years and is really brand new to my team, and just wanted to introduce him to you all. So he'll have a chance to speak here at the conclusion as we move on to the bond proceeds part of our presentation. So I don't know, do we typically pull this up on the screen or no? We're good, just to can move forward? I'm fine with either way. No, we're good. Uh, Um, so I'm going to move ahead for those of you who might be following along on your laptops to the 4th slide titled Unemployment. Just as a quick reminder, the reason we talk about a few market slides, and they typically are a little different each quarter that we share these, is that these are the things we're talking about as a portfolio management team and are ultimately influencing how it is that we're investing the county's portfolios. So on the employment front, closely related to the Federal Reserve, a dual mandate, price stability, aka inflation, and then unemployment or the employment rate. So good news on employment here for the most part this year. We've seen some stabilization from what was a pretty weak year last year. As of June, we're sitting at 4.2% unemployment. What I always say is that a U.S. Consumer that is employed tends to be one that is spending, and that does seem to be the case still. Certainly, there's stress in the economy. We've talked about that at prior meetings, but they keep hanging in there and spending dollars where they spend. So good news on employment. Turning to CPI, certainly we saw some improvement here in June as well. The headline CPI number moved down to 3.5% from above 4%. Obviously, the decline in oil prices was the big driver in that. The number the market really focuses in on is what we call the core CPI number, so excluding food and energy. That's still 2.6%, still above the Fed's target of 2%. We have a new Fed chair since last time we all met. In the first meeting, he came in with a very strong approach that the Fed intends to deliver on price stability. The market interpreted that as pretty hawkish, meaning the thought being this sounds like a Fed that's ready to increase interest rates at some point to help bring inflation back down to the Fed's target of 2%. Obviously, since June, we've seen oil prices move back up here a little bit. So I think that reinforces the idea that this could be a Fed that's ready to raise rates rather than cut. If we move down to the 6th slide labeled Treasury and Forward Curve, we are back to a more normal shaped yield curve. This is a healthy environment where longer term investments yield more than shorter term investments. I think that is only intuitive. As you're lending, the longer you're going to lend or invest in somebody, you ought to be paid more for the longer term. So, healthy market here. I think that's positively sloped curve reflects certainly, inflation running a little bit higher, but it also reflects strong growth and a Fed that's looking towards raising interest rates. I think an important thing to highlight here as we think about rates, 3 months ago, the beginning of this year, maybe not 3 months ago, but certainly at the beginning of this year, everybody thought for sure the next move from the Fed would be a rate cut. And we are always risk managers. This is what we do every single day. So we might lean one way or the other in terms of what we think the Fed is going to do, but unexpected things happen in the world all the time. Our job is protecting the safety of public money, protecting Racine County's funds. So, things are going to change in the world. We try to play it kind of right down the middle, stay on the fairway. That's a lot better than playing out of the trees and out of the rough. I don't know why I wound up on a golf analogy, but turning to the next slide, slide 7, Treasury yields. What I want to highlight here, this is a 20-year picture of 2-year and 10-year bonds. Rates have certainly moved up and down here a little bit recently, But big picture, we are seeing interest rates at much higher levels than we've seen over most of the last 20 years. This is a much healthier environment to be investing in. We feel good about it. That green line that's kind of trending down at the bottom of the three lines there on slide 7, that's credit spreads, relatively tight. If you zero in real close and squint a bit at the end, there was a little pop up in recent months. We did take advantage of that little move up in credit spreads, but in general, pretty tight. So that tells us two things. First, it tells us credit markets feel good about the economy. If they felt like companies were in risk, you'd see those spreads widen out. It also tells us that we need to be, a little bit cautious about where we're investing in corporates because we're just not getting, paid as much spread as maybe we would like. So finally, slide 8, looking ahead on our market outlook. Again, it does look like a Fed that's more likely that their next move is a rate hike, meaning rates moving up. And that is largely with inflation remaining above target. Again, the Fed chair really highlighted we've been 5 years above the target. We need to fix that. Market volatility, always present. I just talked about those credit spreads moving around here a little in the last few months. That can create some nice opportunities to pick up corporates or whatever the case might be at some higher yields. So we expect that volatility will continue. Bottom line, strong fundamentals. A consumer that's employed is spending money. Corporate debt levels are low. Corporate earnings are good. There was some major earnings releases today with Google putting out, a good report. Things, the economy is humming along, and ultimately these higher interest rates, good corporate earnings, good fundamentals. We continue to think good returns across markets here in the year ahead. So I will pause there briefly before we talk about the four portfolios here. Any questions from the committee?
Questions or comments? Supervisor Shakur.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The question, not the question, but the statement you just made, all people aren't doing well, are they? I mean,
Correct. And, it's, bigger policy things than I'm equipped to address, but this idea of a K-shaped economy that first was brought up during the pandemic, that is resurfaced, and it's an economy where people with higher incomes are doing well. So that's that upward slope in the capital K. And unfortunately, people with lower incomes, that slope does seem to be pointing down. The biggest spenders in the economy are the top part of that K-shaped economy. So even with the weakness at the lower income levels, it just doesn't have as big of an impact on the overall economy. So it doesn't mean that it's not a problem. It's something that needs to be addressed. But in terms of the impact on, the national economy, it's not, it's not that large.
yeah, just follow up. In the district that I represent, just a lot of people in bad shape. And
I know.
I just had a call 2 days in a row about homelessness.
Yeah.
So I was at Human Service. Well, that's a
Right.
different subject, but everybody's not doing well.
Understood.
Any other questions or comments at this point? Okay.
So on the portfolio, slide 10, I alluded to this briefly, but we did see a little pickup in corporate spreads here in the kind of months of around March, April, into the first part of May. We did take that opportunity to add just a little bit to our corporate exposure, also to the asset-backed securities. These are some credit card and auto loaned, so sort of a proxy for corporates moved up. Mortgage backs, we continue to slowly move that down. And you did actually see your traditional Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac coupon paying government agency security move from 1.8% on that table down to 0%. That's just a sector of the economy that doesn't issue very much debt anymore. I'd expect that probably to remain at 0. Put all of that together, what do we have? We've got a really high quality, well-diversified portfolio yielding 4.45%. That's 27 basis points above our benchmark. Our benchmark is made up of treasuries and agencies, so we would expect there to be a yield advantage there. I'm going to speak here in 2 slides about the returns that we've generated, but keep that 27 basis point number in mind. Slide 11, not a lot to say on this slide. It's a 1 to 5 year portfolio, really just highlighting that a lot of these bonds do come due relatively quickly. So if cash needs were to come up, this is, by and large, a relatively short-term portfolio, but with some exposure out 5 years, allowing us to, extend in and lock in some of these higher, more attractive rates that I was speaking to. So that does bring us to slide 12. What have the returns been? The past year on a nominal basis, nice returns over 4%. But what I would highlight is the return versus the index. We've picked up roughly 1.4% over our benchmark. And I ask that you hold that number 27 basis points in yield advantage. So clipping the coupon, that yield, that's certainly an important part of the story. But day in, day out, we're doing a lot of work on this portfolio, thinking about shape of the yield curve, buying high quality new issuances, managing duration in line with where we see, the Fed and interest rates moving, risk managers, but also, making sure that we're, leaning in one direction and pointing the portfolio in a direction to be successful. So, I'll say I'm really proud of our results here over the past year. That's a significant excess return over the benchmark. And, we'll see if we can repeat at that sort of a level, but great to show that trailing year performance. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to quickly run through the 3 bond proceeds accounts. So Kate, Mike.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you guys for having me. Being born and raised in Wisconsin, I'm happy to be back on this side of the line. So, right. So with those bond proceeds accounts, we know that, relatively shorter duration on those 3, about $40 million combined of the 2025B, 2025C, and 2026A. So throughout those slides there of 14 through 20, you're going to see, relatively short duration, call it about 0.2. So, 0.2 of a year, just 2 to 3 months there. A few other portions of the portfolio maybe going out half a year. So we know that, right, these funds are being spent and these cash flows aren't being needed. So, a lot of the portfolio is being invested in cash. We're earning an investment rate there that's strong. But when we're able to going out the curve very shortly, 3 to 6 months, let's earn a little bit of a higher rate while we can, knowing that the county does have these expenses to be paid. So you can see there, right, solid returns there, continuing to outperform the benchmark, but then able to still be very short on that duration. So that certainly wraps it up on the bond side, and we'll be happy to take any questions that you guys have.
Questions? Supervisor Shakur?
Oh, I'll come up with one. I was going to wait for others, but thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for the fine presentation, but can you drill a little deeper to tell us what you're doing as far as different placements for our Racine County's investments?
Are you looking for more security level information? Like what are the names of the issuers that we're buying? Is that, just want to make sure I understand the question.
It could be either or.
I think first and foremost, we're always focused on what does state statute allow? It's AA credit quality or better corporate bonds, and it's US Treasuries and government agencies. And that AA or better would also include those asset-backed securities that I referenced. So the county's policy is pretty well mirrors the state statute. So, no significant differences to highlight there. So in terms of what we're buying, modest exposures to corporates in those asset backs, those are each about a little less than 20% of the portfolio. So that leaves the remaining 60% in treasury and agency type securities. So this is, essentially what I'm telling you is these are the very highest credit quality types of securities that you can buy in the market. We make sure that we're buying very large issuers, so they're going to be very liquid. If there was ever a need to sell them unexpectedly, they're the type of name that we could go to the market, sell them, get what we think that they're worth. So those are really important fundamental qualities in a portfolio for government. This is what we do every day. We don't also manage money for high net worth and for corporate treasurers. We're focused exclusively on the public sector. We know it's safety, liquidity, and then yield or income. Yield and income are certainly important, but safety, liquidity, making sure we have funds available, as Cade spoke to on the bond proceeds, ultimately these are projects, monies that the county's spending to improve facilities and other projects. We need to make sure those funds are available. So this are the things that we think about every day.
Thank you.
And I know security level holdings are made available. I don't have like a list of names in front of me here right now, but if you move down like the corporate list, you're gonna recognize these are blue chip, big, household names.
Any other questions or comments? Youth and Governance? Committee members? All right, Brian, Caden, thank you for the presentation. Thank you for the work that you're doing for us. And I think we'd like to get this sent to the county board. If we could forward that to the county board, please, for their review as well.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
Committee.
All right, item number 8 is Racine County Economic Development Corporation, Andrea Stefanis, in regards to the 2026 matching grant second quarter report. Welcome.
Good evening. How's everybody doing? Hopefully you can hear me okay. So in the past, I have always presented this report on the matching grant program solely. But moving forward, I'd like to just change it up a bit and report out on all of the programs that we support in Racine County. So we have a long history of the county supporting economic development projects, and not only in financial capitalization of the grant program, but also the loan programs. So these loan programs have benefited hundreds of businesses, and, like I said, not only the loans, but also the grant program. And going forward, this quarterly memorandum will provide, just quarterly activity on the EDA RLF, the high impact loan program, the Greater Racine County RLF, and the matching grant program. So just a little history on the EDA that started in 1991 with the EDA and the county putting together a program to facilitate businesses expanding in job creation. And these loans are marketed, underwritten, closed, and serviced by our CEDC staff. The original loan capitalization was 1,100,000, 700 from the EDA and 400,000 from the county. We currently have 12 active loans in that program. That's a revolving loan fund. So as loans pay off, the money is filtered back in, and we have 237,702 available for future borrowers. So running a little bit short on that program, but it's very popular. Then we have the high impact loan program, started in 2012. It was established with the purpose of encouraging larger projects to the county. And that initial allocation was $1 million. The program has been facilitating expansion of very large expansion projects. And it's unique because it allows some of the loan or all of it to be forgiven. And the terms of these provisions are usually based on the size of the projects and the impact that it has on the county. More than $10,358,500 has been allocated to this program, resulting in hundreds of new job creation. We currently have 5 active loans and $2,758,991 available for future projects. The Greater Racine County RLF began in 2018, and $750,000 was allocated to the fund to support businesses impacted by the Foxconn manufacturing campus in Mount Pleasant. Since its initial inception, the program and its process is being modified, hopefully to be finalized by the end of this month, and it will allow eligible businesses that are connected with the tax increment district number 5. They'll be able to utilize the low interest and low down payment program. So with that loan program, we only have one loan on the portfolio. So there's $650,000 available for eligible businesses. And then of course we have the Racine County Matching Grant that has been supporting small businesses since 2004. It's changed a little bit over the years to align with the current needs for small businesses. And so the updated result since June of this year we've had 85,544 available to us. So far, we have 80,174 approved out. That's 18 small businesses, 3 of which are manufacturers, 2 veteran-owned businesses, 13 women-owned, and 9 ethnic minority groups. The 18 businesses are located, 10 of them in the city of Racine, 5 in Mount Pleasant, 2 in Caledonia, and 1 in Wind Point. And we keep the goal for this program for job creation and retention. These 18 businesses are committed to retaining 93.5 jobs, and we confirm this by following up with them 1 year later so that they confirm their job employment, and we usually report out at the end of the year. Next, you can see just kind of a graph of the different ethnic minority groups that this program has supported. And then also, in addition to the loan and grant programs, Racine County businesses, they do have access to 10 other RLF programs and 2 grant programs that RCEDC administers. Some of the programs have limitations, like the business needs to be in Racine, the city, or Sturtevant, Union Grove. And then those capitalizations, they're very popular, and, we're always looking for more funding. So each quarter, our RCDC leadership group receives a quarterly report on our outcomes, and I've attached that for your review. And we just want to thank you for your ongoing financial partnership with RCEDC and for your leadership in capitalizing these critical programs for the county and the businesses. So if anybody has any questions, there is a table also included for all of the grant recipients that have been approved so far this year. And then, like I said, if anybody has any questions, we're looking for approval on this report.
Supervisor Miller.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, Andrea. A lot ongoing, continued good work. We really appreciate your partnership with us on economic development. Did I miss it, or did you indicate who was the one loan in the revolving loan fund?
I didn't call that out, but it is Valmay North America
Okay.
is the one that we have on the books.
And
So
what
that was the
what
one.
is their?
I'm not
product?
exactly sure. I can look into that and
Yeah,
let you know.
if maybe through Gwen, you could supply that to the committee, that would be great.
Sure.
And then you have had a stellar record on the matching grant program of going all over the county. This might be the first time I don't see anything west of the interstate.
Yep.
Is it just a lack of applicants at this
I
point?
think so. I think, as I said last quarter, there's just been a really big push for the city of Racine and trying to support the businesses down there and fill the vacancies. So I don't know if because there are 2 other grant programs being offered that more people are just being pushed to our website, and then that program is also there. So it's giving it a little bit more exposure. But, other than that, I don't know of any other differences of why, the West Racine isn't interested this year.
Okay, thank you. And
Yep.
I do really appreciate the chart with the MGP by group.
Sure.
That's very helpful.
Mhm.
Supervisor Spencer.
Thank you. Thank you for this great report. So my question is if, I'm looking at the last chart on 8-5. If we can get the address or district, like maybe just the address, so if they're in our districts, we can check in on them or, stop by.
As far as the Racine,
As far as the county
City?
board in the
Oh.
districts, yeah. Well, Racine, Mount Pleasant, any of the municipalities.
Mhm.
I'm just asking maybe if we can add the address so we can see
Oh, sure.
for them. Appreciate that.
Yep. I'll do that.
Any other comments or questions? Andrea, thank you for that information, and it's always a written report and lots of charts and graphs, and I think that's always helpful to share the mission of that, what we're trying to achieve with this revolving grant.
Mr. Chairman, I would move that we approve and receive the report.
Second. So we have a motion seconded to receive and accept the report. Any other discussion? Youth and governance, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Committee members, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? All right. We will accept that and move that to the county board as well.
Thank you.
All right, number 9, starting with our transfers. Letter A is information technology, Andrew Shoemaker, in regards to authorizing and acceptance of a state and local cybersecurity grant in the amount of $100,000. An action requested for first reading for the July 28th county board meeting. Welcome, Andrew.
Hello again. First time in front of the committee, and I get to talk to you twice. I am pleased to report that our county has been awarded a $100,000 grant from FEMA to enhance our cybersecurity infrastructure. The grant is part of the state and local cybersecurity grant program, which aims to assist in funding improvements to mitigate cybersecurity risks and threats to state and local government. If we accept the grant, Racine's information technology team will use the award to enhance our current managed data detection and response systems. Specifically, we want to improve our AI security posture and data loss prevention by labeling and classifying data. This classification will prevent critical data from being used incorrectly or being uploaded to AI systems where it could become accessible to outside entities. We also plan on continuing to make enhancements to defend against various cyber threats, including malware, ransomware, and phishing attacks. This cybersecurity grant will assist in reducing the costs of these critical and expensive security measures. The threat landscape is continuously evolving, and attackers continuously launching new and more sophisticated attacks. Racine County cyber protection also needs to evolve. By continuing to improve our security posture, we will strengthen our ability to detect and respond to potential cyber threats while further securing our data to prevent unauthorized access. By leveraging this grant, we can fortify our defenses and better protect the county's sensitive data and the integrity of our critical infrastructure. I'm happy to answer any questions that you guys may have.
Questions for Andrew? Supervisor Miller.
Congratulations on this. I have just a question on, in your memo, you asked for first reading at our next county board meeting and second reading August 25th, which would actually be the second. There is a county board meeting on August 11th, and just want to make sure that that would be okay for second reading at that time.
I would be okay with that. I was given guidance by Gwen, but I'm okay with the 11th.
Yep.
Sorry.
I noted this with the chairman earlier. I don't change memos that come from department heads. So we did update it on the request for the county board action to be first reading on the 28th, which would then go second reading if the committee chose on August 10th.
11th.
I
Yeah.
think the 11th is an
Yeah.
election day, so it
Oh, it
would
would
be
be the
Monday
10th. Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you.
But yes. We
I
have it.
just wanted to make sure there wasn't a reason that there
Sorry
might.
for the mistake.
No, that's not a problem at all. I just wanted to make sure that we weren't unaware of some need to have it second reading at
A later date.
at a different, so that's cleared up. Thank you.
Supervisor Rossi.
Thank you, Chairman. Just kind of curious, the labeling and classifying data to prevent critical data being used incorrectly. What does that mean?
So currently with AI, you can upload any data you want out on ChatGPT or Copilot. You can take any of the county data and we can put it up there and have it parse that data and read it and give us whatever answer we're looking for. Not really great practice. So we want to classify the data as being sensitive, if it's sensitive data, so that that data cannot be used to throw into an AI program, especially on the public AI side, that would be able to be read by that AI and maybe dispersed through that AI to other people who are asking that AI questions. For instance, if somebody went to ChatGPT and said, how is Racine protecting their cybersecurity? We wouldn't want that AI to spit out what programs we're using if somebody had uploaded that data to that AI.
Follow up to that then. So is this more so a classification, or is there a language or disclaimer that you can put on this that,
It's a classification, so it'll label it as sensitive data.
okay, thank you.
Yep.
Supervisor Spencer?
Thank you. I was tossing this question back and forth. But so it might seem kind of out there, but with the law enforcement using Axiom, Flock, those systems, are we able to also protect that in those, the information that those systems are gathering from being uploaded anywhere beyond what they're intended to be?
It's a great question, and I'd have to work with the sheriff's office on getting an answer to that. We are working on a auditing solution to audit that camera, well, not the camera data, but to audit the how people are using that camera data. I know other counties and other cities have had issues with that data being used inappropriately. So we're looking at auditing that to make sure that the use of those systems aren't being mishandled. But in terms of the camera data being uploaded, I'm not sure.
So those systems, as a lot of you probably know, give me a heartburn. And I'm not alone, but I might be on this board. Can you work with law enforcement to kind of regulate, kind of use your cybersecurity? Can that be a trade-off? Not necessarily what I asked before, but to work together to make sure that nothing gets out.
Again, currently we are working with law enforcement on creating a audit system for these camera systems. So yes, we can work with law enforcement to better protect the data and the county with what data is being created by these systems.
Okay, you can, and hopefully you will.
Yes.
Thank you.
Supervisor Wish?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. By labeling the data sensitive, how does that prevent somebody from going in and getting that information?
So the data loss protection software will not allow sensitive data to be uploaded outside of the county.
So a computer is telling some other computer that you don't have access to this.
Correct. So a easy example would be a social security number. It's going to look at that and say, that's a 324 number. That's probably a social security number. I cannot upload this.
Okay. And then I've been mulling this over since your first introduction and the comments you were making. When you were talking about consolidating or whatever the buy on computer systems, are you saying that there are divisions or departments within the county that are out buying their own software and going past the IT department?
In some cases, yes.
And who would that be?
If I could address that, this is a process in the procurement office, which falls under my department, where we do have IT sign off on purchase orders and contracts that are software related or technology related. But there are still departments, for instance, the GIS software that is very specific just for that department, or the dispatch software, very specific just for that department. Those departments typically have been in charge of procuring their own software, but we've added a step in where IT is signing off on it before the purchase is
So
made.
that's happening now, but in the past, it was not happening.
No, it's been happening since I've been the director.
Well, it was happening that they were running it by them, but I'm confused. Is this just starting with those departments?
I don't want to speak on the director's behalf. And we had just a meeting today, honestly, to talk about this. No IT purchases would be made in those departments. They would be moved to the IT department.
I understand that,
So
but
we
they,
would be transferring that budget money from the department over into the IT department. You'll see a decrease in dispatch, an increase in IT, and they will have full authority over what's purchased.
but previously they had the authority to go out and get their own
That's
software
correct,
packages.
yeah. I found my own budget software and I ran it by IT and then brought it to this board for approval.
Okay, so this is in the process, or now this is gonna happen officially?
It's in the process, anticipated for the 2028 budget that we would actually be moving the money. We don't have the resources to do that in the 27 budget.
So that'll change the budget lines.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Supervisor Miller.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is a follow-up to Supervisor Rossi's question, and I'm glad you're with us and are developing this policy on classification of data, but we also have a commitment from the county executive and the county board for transparency. So I'm well beyond this agenda item and this committee, but I think we're going to need a policy on how to classify that data.
We're working internally on AI policies for that. It's a complex animal.
Amen. Any other questions?
This would also prevent draft data from being used out in like the AI world. So it's not just the final draft that we're worried about or the final version that we're worried about. It's all the versions that come up to that may have special information in there that we do not want to be transparent about because it is just draft.
Supervisor Spencer.
I just want to say, if we pass this, congratulations on getting this
Thank
grant.
It's my team. It was all before I was here, so thank them.
All right, any other questions or comments?
Do we have a motion yet?
We looking for a motion?
Would move to send this to the county board for first reading July 28th.
So we have a motion and seconded to send this acceptance of the $100,000 grant to county board for first reading on July 28th. Any further discussion? If not, we'll call the question. Youth and governance, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, committee members, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, we will send this to county board for first
Thank
reading.
you.
Thank you. All right, next up, letter B, Public Works and Development Services. Raleigh being authorized a purchase of an MTM dump trailer for a total of $55,000 and transfer of funds within the 2026 capital budget. Action requested for first reading on July 28th. And I see Patrice is here to fill us in.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Thank you. Before you, the transfer that's asking for new programs. So we finally got the funding for our maintenance workers, and that is a program where we're hiring non-CDL drivers and then we're training them in-house. And there's been some growing pains in that program and we're learning as we go. One of the problems is that when we're taking them for testing, that the trailer that we have is long and difficult to learn on. It's just a typical lowboy trailer. So we're looking to fund this trailer so that we could take the guys to the CDL training and train them and then get them to pass so that they can move up into a regular machine operator position. So we're pulling money from used equipment, which is funded through the proceeds of the sale of equipment as things either are towards the end of their useful life or we're not using them anymore. The guys put them in auction and then the proceeds for that money go into this account. So the balance in that account fluctuates throughout the year depending on what's in auction. So we have enough money in that account to fund this purchase. So they're looking to fund this purchase and then be able to continue the training for the CDL program. Any questions?
Questions from the committee? Supervisor Wish.
What kind of a trailer is this?
It kind of looks like a dumpster attached to a trailer, MTM dump trailer.
And they're being trained on how to haul it?
So I don't have a CDL, so I can't speak to it, but like you have to have a certain trailer requirement to pass and so that don't have restrictions. So the trailer that they are is a typical like low boy that you would see on a semi tractor. So that's too long. It's difficult. So when we're training them at the parks or at Old Settlers or whatever, they're not able to back it up easily. So it's something more simple that they could use to get trained up.
So what's the vehicle that's hauling the trailer?
The low boy, the semi, like a typical semi.
So it's a semi tractor that's pulling
cab.
a
It's a
dump,
cab.
semi tractor is pulling a dump trailer.
Got it. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I would move to send this to the county board for first reading July 28th.
Second.
So we have a motion by Supervisor Miller and seconded by Supervisor Shakur to move this forward to the county board for first reading. Any further discussion? Seeing none. Youth and governance, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Committee, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, we'll send this to county board for first reading.
Mr.
Thank you.
Chairman, as long as you're here, it's not on the agenda, but that would follow under staff report. I haven't been west lately. How is our bridge coming?
Which bridge? BD?
Yeah.
BD.
Can I talk about that?
It's just, it would be information for the committee.
Okay,
We're currently grubbing and doing tree removal over there to get ready, the site prepped. It still we're coordinating with the DNR. Once we get approval through the DNR, then we'll send it out to bid. So we're still hoping to have everything completed. We already ordered the culvert, so we're hoping to have everything completed by September.
Thank you.
any other questions? All right, thank you, Patrice. All right, letter C, Public Works and Development Services. Raleigh Beam, creation of a new capital project for a Sanders Campground water upgrade and transfer $150,945 within the capital budget. Action requested for first reading July 26th. I see we have Chad Sampson here tonight to bring us up to speed on this. Welcome, Chad.
Well, thank you. Well, the Sanders upgrade has been on the budget and capital since 2022. And it seems like it's always underfunded. We ask for more money and then the price goes up again. We're chasing the price. So I just want to help get this project completed. And with this transfer, we can finish the project this fall. To summarize the project, there's currently 3 spigots for 19 campsites at the campground. And we're going to put in 19 spigots for 19 sites. And also the electrical needs to be upgraded. Currently, there's 120 volts for each site. This summer, we get a lot of complaints when it got really hot that people that had campers had air conditioning and they plug it in and it would not work, and plug it in and not work. So we're going to upgrade the outer sites to 30 amp and the inner sites to 50 amp in the electrical.
Questions for Chad? Supervisor Miller.
No, I just think it's a great idea because this is a wonderful asset, and I'm very pleased that you all are keeping on top of it. And I would move to send this to the county board for first reading July 28th.
All right, so we have a motion made and seconded to send us to county board for first and second reading. Any further discussion? Chad, I just got a comment. I was talking with the director earlier today in regards to utilizing some of these funds that were set aside for other projects that we haven't got to. And there is a timeline from what I understand as far as spending some of this money. So this would be cleaning up some of the money that we had set aside for other projects that we couldn't get to, and then combining the electrical and water together at the same time. So thank you guys for utilizing those options and bringing them together to get one big project done. Actually, 2 projects. Any further? Supervisor Spencer.
I just want to, Chad, are you the person to talk to about everything related to Sanders Park, or?
Currently, we're working with Patrice, myself, and Ben, but temporarily I've been parks manager for the summer. We're trying to fill the positions for the highway engineering department, and Patrice is helping a lot more with highway engineering because they're so backed up right now.
All right, thank you. I have a question later.
All right, so if there's any other comments or questions on this, we'll call the question. Youth and governance, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Committee, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, we will send this to county board for first reading.
Thank you.
All right. Item number 10 is in your packet, and the next 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14 are basically reports that the finance director sends out. We have a copy of them in your packet. The first one is in regards to the 2026 bi-monthly large capital projects. That's a report that's in our packet. Is there any questions on that report? Seeing none. Supervisor Rossi.
Thank you, Chairman. Quick question on process for Director Zimmer. maybe I just don't remember it, but for example, the South Lawn project actuals is over the budgeted amount. I forget if this was how this one was financed, but was there a resolution to increase the funding and I don't remember it, or how does something like that get handled?
I don't recall that there was a resolution to increase the funding here, but for all of the projects that are completed with money left over in the project, similar to the resolution that Public Works just brought, it goes into a completed capital account, and then when the project is completed, we'll cover it with excess proceeds from other projects. Our budget authority is total revenue, total expense within the department, and the capital is considered a department. So we're able to move money within there to cover.
Thank you.
So are there any comments or questions on the 2026 bi-monthly large capital project report? If not, do we have a motion?
Move to send it to the county board. Second.
So a motion and seconded to send us to county board. Any other discussion? Youth and Governors, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Committee, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? All right, we'll send it to county board. Item number 11 is another finance department report in regards to 2026 second quarter accepted donations. And there's also a copy of that in your packet. If there's any questions for Director Zimmer on that. If no questions, need a motion to send this to county board.
So move.
We have a motion seconded to send the 2026 second quarter accepted donations list to the county board. Any further discussion? Seeing none, Youth and Governance, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Committee, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, we will send that donations to the county board. Number 12 is another report from the Finance Department in 2026 second quarter grant application report. And we have a copy of that in our packet as well. Are there any questions for Director Zimmer on those grants that are listed as application grants? There are two. There are two. There are Meals on Wheels and Bureau of Justice assistants that are in there.
Move to send it to the county board. Second.
Motion being sent this to the county board. Any further discussion? Youth and Governors, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Committee, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, number 13, another finance department report in regards to the Racine County sales tax and update report. You have a copy of that in your packet as well. And it's running through the month of June.
Mr. Chairman.
Supervisor Miller.
I'm just wondering if the committee would be interested, now that we're in our second year, to have a previous year comparison on this report, so we could just see how we're doing compared to the previous year.
I think we can have the director work that into our presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I would move to send this to the county board.
Second. So we have motion and seconded to send the sales tax update report to the county board. Any further discussion?
Mr. Chairman.
Supervisor Wish.
Thank you. Is there any way of telling where the taxes are coming from?
Yes, but I signed an NDA, so I can't share it with you. What do you want to know?
I mean, out of state? Do we have any idea of out of state?
It is, if you made a purchase for something that is out of state, for instance, Amazon that's coming from California or Illinois or whatever, they need to charge you sales tax and it gets reported in Wisconsin.
What about like the marina? Do we have any idea how much we're getting out of that?
It does not, it says who the, I mean, I might be able to find that, but it says who the payer is. So if it is F3 Marina, it would be for all of the marinas that they have in Wisconsin, not necessarily just for us.
So there's no way to pull that out.
I don't think so. I mean, they'll have that on their books of how much they've remitted to the state that they collected on that behalf. And so we can get that. But as far as how much the state has received on our behalf that they'll be remitting to us, I don't know that I can break it down that far.
Be interesting to know. Thank you.
Any other comments or questions on the sales tax usage update? Youth and governors, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Committee, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? All right, we'll send that to the county board as well. Number 14 is another report from the finance department in regards to Racine County claims against budgeted accounts, mainly the copies of the checks that we've been doing starting this year. Is there any questions for the finance director on those that have been submitted for your review? Seeing none, we need a motion to send this to county board.
So move. Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to send this to county board. Any further discussion? Youth and governance, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Committee, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, we'll send that to county board as well. Item number 15 is a motion to move into closed session, so I'll call on Supervisor Miller.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would move that the committee meet in closed session pursuant to section 1985 1G of the Wisconsin State Statutes to discuss with legal counsel claims against Racine County. Number one, AT&T. Number two, Mackenzie Tenor. Number three, Maria Rodriguez. Number four, Phoenix Loss Control, OBO Midwest Fiber. Number five, Veronica Davalos. Number six, the Village of Elmwood Park. Number seven, We Energies. Number eight, Progressive Insurance, OBO Alana Taylor. And number nine, State Farm, OBO Richard Rivers. And the committee reserves the right to reconvene in regular session to take possible action on items discussed in closed session.
All right, this will be a roll call vote to go into, closed session, but I do need a second. All right, we have a motion and seconded. Roll call vote, Vice Chairman Miller,
Yes.
Supervisor Shakur.
Aye.
Supervisor Spencer.
Yes.
Supervisor Wish.
Yes.
Supervisor Rossi.
Yes.
And Supervisor Meyer says yes as well. So we will now go into closed session. So our youth and governance reps, we will have to ask you to exit the room for closed session, and you're more than welcome to come back in when we go back into open session.
But not required. for $3,872.65.
All right, motion been made to settle the claim. Do I have a second? Second. The motion's been made and seconded for the claim for AT&T for $3,872.65. Any further discussion on that claim? All right, we'll call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Item number one is,
Number two, I would like to make a motion to settle the claim of Mackenzie Tenor for $1,479.74.
second. So we have a motion seconded to settle the claim for $1,479.74. Any further discussion? We'll call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, we'll settle that claim.
Mr. Chairman, I would move to deny the claim of Maria Rodriguez.
Second. So we have a motion seconded to deny the claim of Maria Rodriguez. Any further discussion on the claim? If not, we'll call the question. All those in favor of the denial signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, claim is denied.
Mr. Chairman, I would move to settle the claim of Phoenix Loss Control OBO Midwest Fiber for $2,104.75.
Second. We have a motion seconded to settle the claim for Phoenix Control Loss. I'm sorry, Phoenix Loss Control for $2,104.75. Any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay,
Mr. Chairman, I would move to deny the claim of Veronica Davalos.
so we have a motion and seconded to deny the claim. Any further discussion, any further conversation or discussion on the claim? Seeing none, we'll call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye for the denial.
Aye.
Opposed? It is denied.
Mr. Chairman, I would move to deny the claim of We Energies.
Second. A motion seconded to deny the claim of We Energies. Any further discussion? We'll call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye for the denial of the claim.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed?
Mr. Chairman, I would move to send a resolution to the county board to accept the settlement of $50,000 from Progressive Insurance OBO Elena Taylor.
Do we have a second?
Yep.
Second. All right, so we have a motion seconded to accept the $50,000 settlement on behalf of Alina Taylor. Any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? All right, that is carried.
And Mr. Chairman, I would move to pay or to settle the claim of State Farm OBO Richard Rivers for $2,383.66.
Second. So we have a motion and seconded to pay the claim for $2,383.66. Any further discussion on that claim? I'm seeing none. We'll call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. I think takes care of the items from our closed session.
Mr. Chairman, I would move to receive and file the communication and report referrals of item 16.
Second. Motion's been made and seconded to receive and file item number 16 for the bankruptcies and notice of cases of discharge. Any further discussion on that motion? If not, we'll call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, that'll be received and filed. Item number 17 is staff report. I think there's one thing that the director would like us to bring to our attention.
Yep, we did sell the 2026 B and C bonds today. Those were the taxable and tax exempt bonds approved in the 26 budget. We received 5 bidders, which is great. Our interest rate was 4.06%. And if you recall, the parameters resolution improved up to 6%. So we saved about 2%. And that savings is $3.2 million over 20 years.
Excellent.
And then PFM will be here likely in September, early September, to report on those sale results.
All right, thank you. Just another note too, that our next meeting will be August 5th here at 5 o'clock. If there's no other business or any information for the betterment of this committee, look for a motion to adjourn. We have a motion to adjourn. We have a motion and second to adjourn. We are